Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday. It's about 11 a.m., and we're going to do a video today about elapsed time for math. And elapsed time just means how much time has gone by from the start of an event to the end of an event. And I've got jets flying over, so I'm going to try to speak loudly, so hopefully you can hear me, but it doesn't sound like I'm shouting. So can't do anything about jet noise. So we are going to do two examples together, and then I'm going to have you do two independently. So these are real world examples, and when I say real world, they're like stories or word problems that are could be a real situation, and we have to figure out the time. Okay, so we're going to start with this story. And I'll read it out loud, and then we'll calculate the elapsed time. So Darian and Amir were working on a project for science class. They began working on the project at 8:15 a.m. When they finally finished, the clock read 12:33 p.m. How long did it take them to complete the project? So I'm going to get a highlighter and just kind of highlight what's important. So we know they started at 8:15. They ended at 12:33. And we need to figure out how long did it take them. So we're basically asking how much time went by from start to finish. So I'm going to write my start time with hours and minutes. I'll use red. So they started at 8:15. And they ended at 12:33. Okay, so I'm going to start with my hours, and I have to count up from 8:15 by hours, but I cannot pass 12:33, right? I don't want to go past that because then I've gone too far, too much time. So if I count by hours, I'm just going to start at 8:15, so I don't count 8:15 as 1 hour. So 1 hour would be 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15. If I do another hour, that would be 1:15 because we know when we're doing time, when it goes from 12:15, another hour is 1:15, not 13:15, because we're doing 12-hour time, not 24-hour time. That's a different thing. So we're starting at 8:15, again, counting by hours. 1 hour would be 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15. So that's 4 hours. So I'm going to add 4 hours. And 0 minutes. I'm not adding any minutes yet. We'll do the minutes next. So I added my 4 hours, and it's 12. And I still have 15 minutes. Okay, but I need to figure out how many minutes now from 12:15 to 12:33. So how do I find out how many minutes do I need to add to 12:15 to make it 12:33? Well, you could just count up from 15 to 33. You can do that. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to count up from 15 to 33. But I'm going to kind of count by fives first and then ones. So let's say I'm starting at 15. If I count by fives, let's see, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I counted by fives and then I counted by ones. Starting at 15, I did 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. I had to add 18 minutes. So I'm adding 0 hours but 18 minutes. Okay, so if I add 0 hours, I still have 12 hours. But 15 plus 18, let's see, I've got 3 here, 13. There's 5 plus 8 is 13, so I got to carry my 1. And then 1, 2, 3, that's 33 minutes. So I do get my end time, 12:33. How much did I add? I added 4 hours and I added 18 minutes. Okay, another way to figure out the minutes would be to take my ending minute time, which is 33. So I need to find out the difference between 33 and 15. So I can subtract 33 minus 15 to find the difference. I cannot do 3 minus 5, so I'm going to borrow from the 3 and make that a 2. Make this 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. So weird 8. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's another way to find the minutes that we have to add by taking away my end minute time. You know, if I take away the number of minutes I have from the ending minute time, so I'm finding the difference. Difference means to subtract. So 33 minus 15 to find how many minutes I need to add to 15 to make 33. Okay, so I know that that's probably a little more confusing. It might be easier to count up from 15 to 33. So I'm going to count by fives first. 20. Oh, that's a 5. Dang it. Okay, so from 15, I count up by fives. 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so either way, I have to add 18 minutes. So how long did it take for them to complete the project? Well, my answer is 4 hours, 18 minutes. So I can write that out, 4 hours, or you can abbreviate it 4H, 18M. Okay. All right, that's one example. I'm going to do another example that's similar but not exactly the same. And then you're going to have 2 to complete on your own that are also very similar but not exactly the same. But if you follow the same steps I did, you'll get your answer. I'm going to clear this. Okay, the second one says, the clock below shows the time CJ's art therapy class began in the morning. The class lasted 82 minutes. What time did the class end? So let's highlight what's important. Well, we got to look at the clock. I got to figure out this time. And then I know that it lasted 82 minutes. So here they're not giving you a start time or an end time. They're just showing you the clock and telling you how long it lasted. So my first job is to figure out what is that time that I'm starting. I actually want to scroll down a little bit, so it's going to mess up my highlight. Here, go back up. Okay. All right, so let's look at this time here. I know that I need to look at my hour hand first. My hour hand is the short hand or the small hand, and it's between what two numbers? It's between 8 and 9. That means it's past 8 o'clock, but it's not 9 o'clock yet. It's somewhere between the hour of 8 and 9. So I know it's 8 something. So I can write that down. My hour is 8 something for my start time, but I got to figure out my minutes. So I'm going to start at my 12 because that would be 8 o'clock, 8 hours and 0 minutes. I'm going to come around clockwise, counting by fives, and stop where the minute hand is pointing, which is pointing to the 5. So I start at the 12. I'm going to start counting here. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's 25 minutes after 8 o'clock. Or we can say 8:25. Okay, we got our start time. And we know that the class lasted 82 minutes. I got to figure out the end time. So I can add 82 minutes over here. Right? If you want to put the 0, you can. 0 hours and 82 minutes. Okay, so let me go ahead and add 25 plus 82. I'm adding up my minutes. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 8 is 10. Okay. And my hours, I had 8, and I'm adding no hours to it, so it's still 8. But that looks like a very weird time. 8:107, that doesn't make any sense. Or 107 minutes after 8. Well, we know that that's not how we would normally say time, right? That this 107 minutes is more than an hour, because an hour is how many minutes? 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. I'm going to have to write it underneath because I'm out of room, but we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So if I have a number here in my minutes that is greater than 60, more than 60, we know that there's at least, I have to regroup this time. There's at least 1 hour here. So how do I figure out, how many hours is 107 minutes? Well, I'm going to regroup. So I'm going to take away 60 minutes here. If I take away 60 here, let's see, 7 minus 0 is 7. 0 minus 6. I'm going to borrow from this 1 here, make that 0. Bring my 1 over and make that 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. So I regrouped. I took 60 minutes away here. Now I have 47 minutes. But remember, 60 minutes is an hour, so I have to add that back in over here. I took 60 minutes away from my minutes, but I added an hour to my hour side. So now I have 47 minutes here, but I have 9 hours here. Okay, so anytime I'm adding minutes, I added 82 minutes to my start time of 8:25. I added 82 minutes here. I had still 8 hours here, but 107 minutes. And my brain goes, wait a minute, that's more than an hour. So I need to regroup and change that into hours and minutes. I take away 60 minutes here, and I'm left with 47 minutes, but I take that 60 minutes and add the hour in on my hour side. So now the time is 9:47. Okay, so I'm going to erase that and go through that one more time. And I'm going to rewrite that because that looks kind of messy. So it's important when we're working with time and elapsed time that we know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Or 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Excuse me. Whew. Okay. So I looked at my clock. I read my start time. The hour hand is between 8 and 9, which means it's past 8 o'clock, but it's not 9 o'clock yet. Somewhere between the hours of 8 and 9. So that means it's 8 hours and some minutes. Then I went to my 12 and started counting the minutes by fives going around the clock, clockwise. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 minutes. So I'm starting at the time 8:25. And I have to find out what the end time is after 82 minutes. So I'm going to add the 82 minutes over here. If you want to put a plus 0 here, you can. I still have 8 over here. But my minutes here, so I'm going to do 5 plus 2 is 7. And 2 plus 8 is 10. So I've got 8 hours, 107 minutes. But if someone said, well, what time did your class end? You wouldn't say 8:107. That doesn't make any sense, and that's not how we tell time. So my brain goes, wait a minute, 107 minutes, that's more than 1 hour. So I need to regroup this time. I'm going to take away 60 minutes here from my minutes. But I know that 60 minutes is an hour, so I'm going to add my hour in over here. Not changing the amount of time, I'm just calling it something different. Instead of 107 minutes, I'm going to change that to minutes and hours. So 7 minus 0 is 7. I cannot do 0 minus 6, so I'm going to borrow. Make that a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. So I've got 47 minutes. But the 60 minutes, I've got to change that into an hour. It didn't just disappear. I'm going to add the hour in over here on my hour side. So I get 9 hours and 47 minutes. So the time that the class ended, the question says, what time did the class end? The class ended at 9:47. Okay? All right. So I'm going to erase all this, and then you'll have 2 problems to complete that are almost the same, but just a little bit different. The different names, different numbers, same process. So you have one to complete on your own for this one, and then one that's similar to the one we just did with a clock, and you have to find the end time. Okay? All right, so just go ahead and post your answers on Seesaw, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for all your hard work. Miss you, and just keep trying your best. Keep doing your work, okay? Bye.